Okay, so this look does require, or at least I will attempt to, cover my eyebrows. I am still not the best at this. I continuously keep trying and I keep trying different ways, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do it because I want this look to come out a very specific way. I'm even trying a new technique with color theory. I took an orange cream makeup, which we all know I absolutely hate cream makeup. And after a while of looking like the Mad Hatter, I then went ahead and powdered them down so that way they wouldn't smudge, and then applied my concealer on top of that. At first, it was going really well. Then, as I finished, it did the same thing as always, where some areas look like it ate away at the glue. And I have no idea if that's because I'm using products because the glue is a water-based glue, and some of my products are liquidy, and that liquid is kind of acting like a water to kind of wash away. I don't know, okay? I haven't figured it out yet, but I will at some point. Honestly, it's not something I do often. Look, I ain't no wasteful girly, okay? So am I scraping out every ounce of makeup I can out of this pan? Yes. Yes, I am. This type of makeup is pretty expensive. I use white for mapping a lot just because it's the easiest color to cover in case I do change my mind on shape or exact placement. But what I mean by mapping is just sketching out where I want loose concepts to go, such as the eyes and the mouth. For the body's base color, I was trying to create a tan that looked like burlap, but every color, every light tan I made just blended into my skin too much to where you just saw absolutely nothing. So I wound up just doing a very thin layer of white to start. Then took a dark brown eyeshadow and started stamping that in places where I saw fit. I did kind of hollow out the temples of my head and kind of did a little bit of contouring, but that was also kind of a mistake. I didn't really mean to do like contouring, it just kind of happened. I was just trying to like fill that area. Oh, let me just tell you, okay, fun fact about myself. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I don't have collarbones, so I decided to try for the first time. There's a lot of first in this paint, by the way, but I decided to try and shadow and create collarbones pretty much, and I don't feel like I did it very well or even correctly if we're talking autonomy wise, but it was a first and it was weird. In these next shots, we're moving over to the showers because we're gonna do some splatter work. And I did this before in past videos. Most viewed one is my craw paint, which I absolutely hate. It might do a revised look in the future, but oh well. I just took a brush with brown, white, and gray paint all separate and used my thumb to brush the bristles to have it splatter on my skin. We're doing this in the shower because in no way do I want paint on my walls. I still wanted to make my skin look more burlappy, so to get more texture, I randomly put in, I guess, cross-stitch patches you would call them. I don't really know. I just took brown and made lines one way, then over them in another direction to where the lines would cross, then did some white over some of the lines to add highlights. The skin texture is looking okay, so I'm gonna move over to blacking out the eyes and the mouth so I can work on detail there. For these lines down the side of my neck and shoulders, they're meant to look like big seam lines that are holding Oogie Boogie together. I was really nervous to be doing these because I didn't want to mess anything up. So I made a boo-boo. The only way I could think to fix this without using water, which would remove all of the paint from underneath, was to just add a bunch of white to it, gray it out as much as I could, and blend it out. I was so annoyed that I moved back to detailing the face, which I said I was going to do earlier, but I started with shadowing some lines around the eyes to make them more mean looking. Also to cover more of the eyebrows, which I was still a little upset didn't fully cover, but it's okay. I added just the tiniest of black eyeshadow to the tips of the lines on the mouth, just to make more of a crease effect with the shadowing. Alright, we're almost done here. I'm gonna start adding all the stitching lines now, making sure not to put two X's next to each other, being very mindful of the pattern, not pattern, that we're doing. Once again, I'll put a little white on top of that to create a highlight. I made sure to dip my brush back into the white after every other paint stroke to make sure that it is as white as it possibly can be, because it's going to dry down gray on top of that black. I went with a go-to hairstyle. For me, that is a bun with two cute curly pieces on the side. And here is the final look. Looking back on it, it doesn't necessarily scream Oogie Boogie to me, but it is a rendition that I do really like.